So we're finally introduced to Yuri, and I've heard a lot of things just from people being like, I'm scared of his introduction, I'm excited for his introduction will be wild, and honestly, all those thoughts are accurate and represent what this man, Unki Yuri, is going to represent for the cast. And generally when it comes to those like siscon characters, the overly obsessive brothers, I feel like they're either there and, they don't do anything for the story, but they don't subtract anything from the story, or they're just a little too incesty that you shove them away sort of a thing. But Yuri is fantastic. I think he's a 10 out of 10 addition. He's a badass, he's hilarious, but I think his obsessiveness comes across in a lot more elegant of a way, despite it being so intense, than a lot of the shows that try to do something similar. Because I love the fact that within this family in general, they're all idiots in their own way, because you look at the fact that Lloyd can easily overlook stuff that Yor has done earlier in their relationship. You look at Yor and she completely overlooks some of the shit that he does. I mean, the times that both of them have done these badass things that anyone else would raise an eye being like, wait, are you a spy, an assassin, or a martial arts teacher? Like, what's going on? So to have Yuri be equally as dense when it comes to his sister, that the idea of being married a year, most people would either say, A, that's a fake marriage, or 2, what the hell is the secret? Why did you keep it for so long? But given the fact that in the short time we've come to know Yor as a person, her forgetting is a believable excuse for anyone who's known her their entire lives. And the fact that even though our boy Lloyd, or Lloydie as he's introduced in this episode, breaks a few cups in the process of the shenanigans, it's a believable excuse. And just to see the escalation and to see like the idea of like in their past, as hilarious as it is that she comes home covered in blood, buying encyclopedias, crayons, and things like that, and he's crying, being like, you don't have to keep getting yourself hurt to, buy me stuff. You can tell they just had a very good connection and they were very close. And there's plenty of families who are equally protective of their siblings and things like that without going super overboard to the point of like wanting to sleep with them and stuff. And I love the fact that Spy Family was able to sell a siscon archetype and make them memorable, make me want to see more of them, but make me feel like the drama they'll entail is actually warranted and I'm glad to see more of. Because I think one of the funniest gags that has happened to Yor is her over drinking when it comes to the wine. And you, even in this episode, have her boys say, no wine for you tonight. But to see that the drinking runs in the family, and the fact that they can't hold back their liquor for different reasons, I think Yor's kind of the, she likes to taste a little too much and it causes her to drink a couple of bottles and maybe a wine cellar. And then in the case of Yuri, he panic drinks and in doing so completely stumbles. And of course, they end with the baiting into a kiss. Are they actually going to kiss? I have a feeling Anya would walk out and probably navigate around it. But if they did fully commit to it, it will be like the little peck on the cheek or a little peck on the lips, and it will probably send him into a frenzy. He'll probably pass out. Either way, I'm excited to see how they'll resolve that cliffhanger there, because it's not an intense cliffhanger in the sense of, oh no, what's going to happen next? So more so of like, goddamn, you can tell how embarrassed both were. And even as Lloyd, or Lloydie himself says, he's had dozens of relationships within Mission, so kissing a woman shouldn't cause him to be embarrassed, but because he generally cares for Yor, and it's not fake as much as he wants to admit to it, it did send him into a panic. But it was nice to get a sense of what the family has to offer in all the different departments. And I think the idea of, essentially your two main people, one's a spy, one's an assassin, working for two separate countries, right? The idea, like everything about it should fail on paper. So then to add in someone who is incredibly intense, even though you have the person who apparently hired the man saying he's cute like a puppy, so that's why he got the job. When it comes to interrogation, he's probably the most frightening person a part of that group. So if it ever did get to the point of actually fighting, even though you would naturally assume Lloyd wouldn't die, can realize that those two fighting together in a life or death situation very well could have both dying in the process. So how do you navigate around potentially that conflict and to see the most stupid, the most brilliant, the most intelligent thing I think they could have done? The idea of him confessing that he loves her so much that even if a meteor strike hit the earth, that he would protect and stop that from happening to her. And it shocks him so much, he's like, well, I understand, like, spears falling, but how in the hell would he do that? That's incredible. Wait, he has to be lying to me. But the fact that, because for him, the only person who's worthy of his sister is someone who's more capable of protecting and loving and caring for her than himself. And the idea of those little acts over the course of the series, whether lies, whether seeing things in action, I think are going to be incredible to see how it's going to evolve over the course. And I like a little bit of drama in my family story. And the idea of someone who's very protective, but not in a weird way, at least if you ask me. I love his, like, over-exaggeration in terms of how he goes about presenting said love. You don't bring a dozen roses, you bring the whole damn rose cart. And the idea that it's not even weird for her, she just puts, 100 roses in her vase because she's probably used to that stuff. And given the fact that even though she's like, I forgot to tell you about my marriage a year back, the fact that she even forgot to give her number, her actual phone number at her apartment to him, it just kind of makes it a very believable lie, all things considered. Even though I love the reaction of Lloyd, it was just great to see that. And even before, like, all the family stuff, I actually like the little bits of teaching moments, because Anya, of course, she tries to answer math and fails miserably and has her shocked reaction. And I love the idea of using almost her spy cartoon or show to, like, propel her knowledge, because she starts asking, like, how many bullets does he have left? And then she's like, oh, he has 2/8 bullets. And even though she's rather intense when she says that, like, goddamn, he's gonna pop some fools in the ass. I love the fact that he realizes that he could use something she loves to propel her knowledge in something that he needs her to do well in, which is absolutely the case. I mean, all throughout school, whether I was good at a subject or bad at a subject, there was so many subjects that I was just like, I just don't care. It bores me and I just don't give a shit. I'm just here to pass the class with the bare minimum, move on with my day. But I could tell you the entire history of Mass Effect all at the same time, because that shit interests me. And, geography was like, go F yourself. So I understand exactly where she's coming from, and I like the fact that he clues in that could be a key into teaching her sort of a thing. And given the fact that we now do have essentially the family assembled, right? There's so many things that are running through my mind, like picnics with the family, or going to, shopping adventures with the family. And just comparing what's happened with Anya, Lloyd, and Yor. How many times have they ended up, like, showcasing their martial arts skills and things like that? Normally should expose their identity or make you suspect it, and they just think they're amazing. So if something like that happened with Lloyd showing off to protect Yor, that wouldn't raise an alarm bell, because anything with his sister he's oblivious to, he would just think, oh man, he's actually strong, he can protect her, before cluing back into, like, no, he's still not good enough sort of a thing. The jokes write themselves, and I'm very excited for more. Overall, across the board, another 10 out of 10 Spy Family episode. Just when you think you can't like it more, they introduce another character who just is a riot and an amazing addition, if you ask me. So, of course, I'm excited for next week and the remaining episodes. But thoughts, if you have any, down below. Thoughts on the new character, whether if you've read the manga or if you're brand new to the anime like myself, let me know. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.